Today, we're just going to be talking about MST's collaborative working.
There's a case a number of years ago that it was already engaged or had engaged in MST, and it was great, I think, in my role, because when they come to me, we're looking at the referred child, so we're looking at it from the context of a mental health condition specifically and the treatment of that mental health condition. And whereas I guess your guys' remit might be slightly different, what you did do is it was that socialisation to the systemic way of thinking. The idea that it's not rooted in one individual, but rooted in a systemic understanding of what's going on. So you were trying to set up a service that was kind of like gold standard. You'd want that collaboration across services.
We usually work with high risk young people that's vulnerable to exploitation, and it's always been helpful when MST's come on board. I think specifically me and Charlene have worked together on quite a few occasions. I think it's supported in different ways, really, because exploitation is such a wide spectrum of different things you've got to look into in terms of that contextual side. It's really difficult sometimes to manage that as an individual. So I think one of those things of being able to bounce off someone else that also has those expertise but has a different way of working to yourself is always beneficial.
Obviously, I had knowledge around exploitation, as in the generic sense of the term, how to spot signs and symptoms. However, upon working with Josh has been able to kind of fine-tune my understanding of exploitation, that even little things that other professionals might not see is an issue, actually that's the startings of something bubbling around exploitation. Also, he's taught me loads in terms of actually what actions can be taken by the police and other partner agencies.
So what was really useful was the way that Meet conducted the children need meetings. So at the meetings, Meet was really good at getting the perspective from all of the agencies around the table, and really looking at what we felt wasn't working well, but also what was working well. And in some of the sessions as well, you would have like the grandmother at the time who was feeling that, everything's too much for me, the child's better off in care, I can't go on. Meet was really good with, it was actually drawing out the strengths, what grandma was actually, really strengths-based. And that came about with, in terms of myself and Meet meeting prior to meetings, really updating each other, knowing what's going on.
Police, it's very much catch and convict, and we want to be able to go and do what we want to do. And I think one of the things that I've learned is, that sometimes we do have to just stand back and watch and wait. And sometimes we have to have really, not difficult, but frank and open and honest conversations. And we don't always agree. And I think it's really good. And, the people that I can see here that I've worked with, we've all been able to have those conversations and have those professional disagreements and still contact each other an hour later and go, oh, can you just tell me what this means? Or it's always been like that. And I think for me, that's something that's really positive. And the fact that we can all get on as professionals can only ever be, a positive for the family.
And the protocol between MST and the police is really helpful because we're both in it together in terms of minimising the arrests, minimising charge, and definitely minimising the custody of a child.
It's difficult to get that engagement straight away, build that rapport, and actually get to the root of what the problems are or what the concerns are within the family. I think what MST do brilliantly, and obviously with yourself, is that you kind of move in, like you rock up on the day with your suitcase and your bag, and you're in that family home. And I think that's brilliant because it's really intensive. So you're saying to families, look, I'm going to come round 2-3 times a week. I'm going to be on the phone constantly. If you need me, I'm there. And it really gets that sort of that connection made with the family in order so that you can see from their perspective what the difficulties are.
We're looking at a different kind of an operating model in Sandwell, but with a clear focus of sort of getting closer to our communities, getting closer to our partners so we can work together more intensively to deliver those outcomes, what are really making a difference. I often hear of multiple examples of young people being problematic, losing their way, on the edge of care. But following MST interventions and the support from partners, turning their lives around and making a positive impact on society, just like Shanda is the driver of all of this. So I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone.